Hello gamers, it's Tom Sidener, the Lonely Gamer, and I'm about to continue on my quest for death here in Dark Souls, the board game. The first thing I'd like to do in this video, this is part 2 by the way, is go ahead and talk about some of the things that I did wrong in part 1. I caught one of my mistakes, and a couple of YouTube viewers caught a couple mistakes. I want to thank them for watching my video and letting me know some of the issues that I have. The first mistake that I caught was that my weapon, my battle axe here, it does not have any upgrade slots on it. So I'm going to put it up here so you can see it. So right here it shows how many upgrade slots your item has, and this has a 0 here. That means nothing can be equipped to it. So unfortunately, my simple gem and my Titanite shard should go away. I shouldn't have these attached to my weapon. So unfortunately, I am unable to use these, and so these are going to have to go into my inventory. This only affected, I think, one fight that I fought against, I think, one of the knights. I actually used the shard to actually take him out, so it only affected one thing. It wasn't a big deal, but I'm no longer going to use those because I do not have the right to use those. The other thing, Jason Burt noted that my movement on the bad guys when I was actually doing the combat was a little bit incorrect. Now the node system on here makes the movement a little tricky, and I was a little confused about where things could move. So this knight guy actually started right here, and he had a movement of 2. I was right here, and I moved him like this, and he was unable to attack me. But as Jason pointed out, he should have been able to move here, across here, and then to here to actually attack me on his first turn. So in this second part, in part 2 here, I'm going to be a lot more aggressive with the movement of the bad guys, and actually maybe a little more aggressive with my movement now that I know that you can span these larger areas. Now it kind of threw me off because this moving from here to here is a lot shorter distance than moving from here to here, so I didn't know that this long distance was also considered adjacent, but after looking at the rules, he's right. You can move from here to here, which seems kind of odd, but I think it's because of the node system. So anyway, I'm going to be a lot more aggressive with my movement from now on, so thank you, Jason, for pointing that out. The next mistake was pointed out by Makoto X Chihiro Yo Fangirl. She pointed out that during my initial treasure purchasing, when I received my second ember, I should not have just thrown that away. I should have thrown it away or put it on the bottom of the stack and drawn another card. Because in the rulebook it does say if all of the members of your party already have an ember, then you draw another treasure card to replace that. So at the beginning of this video, I'm going to go ahead and draw one treasure card to replace that. So thank you, Fangirl. I really appreciate the comment on that, and I definitely missed that when you said it. As soon as you said it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember reading that. But it's kind of hard to remember all the rules all the time, so thanks so much for pointing that out. So that's it. So those are the 3 items that I missed. Hopefully I didn't make any more mistakes, but if I make any mistakes in this video, please feel free to leave comments and let me know, and I'll try to sort those out in part 3. So here we go. We're going to get ready to go. Just a reminder, this is part 2 of the playthrough. I will put a link to part 1 in the show notes, and I will also put a link to the setup video in the show notes. So if you want to watch this in order, watch the setup video, then part 1, and then part 2. Okay, so here we go. We are going to move forward with the playthrough. So the first thing I'm going to do in the playthrough is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move back to the bonfire tile. I want to go back here. I've got a couple souls here that I want to spend. I also am going to go ahead and pull that treasure that I need to pull for that ember that I incorrectly pulled the last time. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my ember treasure and see what I get. The one thing I'm a little sad about is in the first 16 souls that I spent, there was nothing, absolutely nothing that I could use. I even went through them off camera to see if there's anything that I could use, upgrade something, to use something that was in my inventory pile, and there was nothing. So I'm really, really hoping to get lucky. I don't think there's a lot in here that I can use right now, and it's kind of expensive to upgrade. I do have 2 souls, so if I would happen to get something here that I would need to upgrade to tier 1 to use, I can do that. So let's see what I got here. So here I pulled a Eastern Iron Shield. That requires a 28 in dexterity, and I have a 16 in dexterity, and even if I moved to tier 2, I would only have a 25 in dexterity. And moving to tier 2 would cost me 4 souls, which I do not have. I only have 2. So this card also is going to be a card that I cannot use and is going to go directly to my inventory. So now that I've done that, now I'm going to go ahead and spend my souls. The sad thing about that is once I spend 1 soul, I will no longer have the ability to upgrade one of my stats. So I can pretty much guarantee you almost 100% that what I pull, I'm not going to be able to use. This is actually the first kind of frustrating thing for this game, as I kind of feel like I'm stuck with the starting equipment. Maybe it's because I really haven't gone out too much, but I did start with 16 souls, and if you're starting a party of 2 or more, you're starting with no souls. So I don't know how easy it is to actually upgrade your people, but let's go ahead and give it a shot. I'm going to see what I get. Maybe I'll get lucky. So the next thing I receive is this Kukris, and this Kukris is something that I can actually use because it's a 15 in dexterity and I have a 16 in dexterity, so I could use this. The only problem is that all it does, it doesn't really have a damage attack, it just causes bleed damage. Now bleed damage, if you put bleed damage on something, the next time that it takes damage, it would actually take 2 additional damage. This would probably be really good for a boss, because then you could do more damage, but most of these little guys only have 1 damage, so if I did damage, it's going to kill them anyway, so this wouldn't really do any good. Also, it has no upgrade slots. It's got 0 on the upgrade slot, so even if I used this, I still couldn't use my hundreds of upgrades that I pulled in the first draw. It is a one-handed weapon, so I could replace my round shield with it, but my round shield is giving me some defense, where this gives me no defense. So I'm thinking that maybe this is not the best thing to use right now. Now, once I get to the boss fight, maybe I'll want to switch out my shield for this Kukris, because I think this bleed damage might help me with that. But right now, I'm not going to use that. So I'm just going to put it in my inventory. That cost me 1 soul to purchase. And now I'm going to spend my last soul to purchase another treasure and see what I get. I'm not very optimistic that I'm going to get something that I can use, but I'm going to try. So I pulled it. I got the Great Wooden Hammer. That causes 30 in strength, and I would have to be at tier 3 to actually use this. So I'm not going to be able to use that. And tier 3 will cost me 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 souls to actually get to tier 3. So I'm not going to be using this anytime soon. So with that in mind, I guess I'm going to venture forth with my basic equipment and just kind of hope for the best. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and venture forth. I don't see that I need to do anything else at this time. I do not have to remove a spark because I did not rest. I just went to the bonfire to spend my souls to hopefully get some treasure, but I didn't really get anything good, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to go ahead and move to this tile. I'm assuming that once a tile is cleared, there's no reason to worry about moving one node at a time, because there's nothing to fight. The tile is clear, so I should be able to move on without any encumbrance. If that is not correct, leave me a message in the show notes, but I think you can just dash through tiles that you've already cleared. Then I'm going to go ahead and move to this tile. I'm coming in this doorway, so I'm going to go ahead and move over to this node right here. I don't want to be on this node because I'm pretty sure that something bad is probably going to start on that node and probably going to be attacking me. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reveal this card, and I'm going to go ahead and fill up the node. So I reveal the card, and on the sword, which is right here, I'm going to get one of these creatures, so it matches this symbol. So I'm going to just go ahead and flip him over, and that's a hollow soldier. So I'm going to put him on the sword. Then on the double sword, I'm going to get 2 of these hollow crossbowmen, and they're going to go on this one. So I'm going to be probably taking some major damage here. And then I'm going to get barrels on both of the other nodes. And unfortunately no treasures, but fortunately no traps. So that's it, and we're going to see how we fare here without our attachments on our battle axe, and hopefully maybe we can get lucky and survive this tile, but I'm not all that hopeful. So here we go. So we're going to put these guys in order of their aggression. So it's the hollow soldier first, and then the crossbow hollows next. The hollow soldier moves 1, and now we know he can be a little more aggressive with his movement, so he's going to shoot all the way over here like that. But he only has a range of 0, and he's not on my node, so he does not get to attack me this turn. I'm going to need to get away from him probably because he's going to be kind of dangerous. He does a 4 attack. Now I've got the crossbow hollows, which are going to go, and they're going to go 1 at a time. They move 1 away from me, so this guy's going to go here, and he's going to attack me for 3 magic. I'm going to use my, my famous dodge move because I don't really have, I have 1 black dice for defense. The most I could defend is 2, so I think still dodging is my best move. That cost me a stamina, so I've paid my stamina, and now I'm going to try to dodge that crossbow bolt. Okay, so I did not dodge, so I'm going to take 3 damage from that hollow crossbowman. That really hurt, and that's not a good start to this tile. And now I'm going to activate the other crossbowman. He's going to move back from me 1, and he's also going to try to hit me. I do get a movement with my dodge even if I don't dodge, so I am going to move here. I'm going to try to dodge my way across the board. This guy's going to try to shoot me here. And I'm going to pay another stamina and attempt to dodge again. It's kind of important that I dodge this guy because that's going to put me really close to death. I did. I dodged. That's good. And for my dodge, I'm going to take another movement for my second dodge. And I'm going to move all the way over here. I'm really just trying to stay out of range of this guy, but maybe it would be better to actually move onto his node so that I can try to take him out. So actually, to be honest with you, I'm going to change my mind, and I'm going to just go ahead and dodge up on top of this guy. Why not? I mean, I think I better be aggressive, because if I'm not aggressive, I think I'm going to die. So that's the activation for the bad guys, and now it is my activation. So at the start of my activation, I'm going to remove 2 stamina here. And I'm going to go ahead and take a swing at this guy. He has a defense of 1 against physical attacks, which is what I'm doing. And so I'm going to roll my 2 dice. Maybe I can get up here and get on the same node as these guys and use my special ability to hit everything on the node. That might be helpful to me in this scenario, but let's see what happens here. I've got to survive this guy before I can actually take out those snipers there. So I'm going to go ahead and roll. I need to get at least 2 to hit him, and I got 1. This is not starting out very well for me. I do have the option to re-roll a dice. I really don't want to have to fight all 3 of these guys at one time. I really need to take that guy out. So I think what I'm going to do, and this may be, a really bad thing, but I think I'm going to go ahead and flip my lucky coin and re-roll this blank dice. So I'm going to flip my lucky coin over. I'm going to re-roll this blank dice and hope to get a hit on it. I did. Okay, so that might have been worth it. We're going to find out in the long run, but I did take this guy out, so he is dead. I do have a movement coming, so I want to move into a location where I can try to get to these crossbowmen. So I am going to move here. This way, no matter where they move, I'm only 1 space away from them, and I'm going to end my turn. Now we're going to activate the hollow crossbowmen. They are going to attempt to shoot me. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to move 1 space away from me, but they're as far away from me as they can get. If they actually move any, they're going to be moving closer to me, so they will stay where they're at. The first one's going to try to shoot me with 3, and so I'm going to attempt to dodge him. I don't have my lucky coin anymore, so I can't re-roll my dodge, which is what I was really hoping to use this for. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. Come on, lucky dice, let's get a dodge. Yeah, dodge. So I dodged the first guy, and I managed to not take 3 damage from him. and I also get to move, so I'm going to go ahead and roll here with my dodge. Maybe that's not the best thing to do, because if I roll there with my dodge, this guy on his turn is probably going to move here. I would like them to stay on the same node, so I am not going to move. So I've changed my mind. I am not going to move. This is a tactical decision to not move so that this guy will not move off of this node, because what I'd like to do is I'd like to get on the node with them, and I would like to hit them both at one time. So anyway, so that actually cost me a stamina to dodge, and I'm going to go ahead and pay that now. And now the next bowman is going to go. He is as far away from me as he possibly can get. If he moves, he's going to be closer, so that's the reason I didn't move. So he is going to stay where he's at. I'm going to pay a stamina, and I'm going to attempt to dodge the second one. Now I am going to go ahead and take my movement with my dodge, so I'm going to roll here. I've watched my son play the video game, and I know these guys, they kind of roll when they dodge. So I'm going to kind of do a little roll here, end up on this node, and I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do my dodge. Come on, lucky dice, give me another dodge. No, I did not get a dodge, so I take 3 more damage. So now things are getting a little tricky here. I wish I had a magical attack, because these hollow crossbowmen don't have any defense against magic. So I'd only have to hit them once in order to hit them. But they have 1 defense against physical damage, so I'm going to have to get at least a 2 to hit them. Well, the crossbow guys are done. I am kind of in a little bit of a spot here, but I'm going to go ahead and take my turn. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these 2 stamina, and then I'm going to actually move and then attack. So I'm going to move onto the node with these crossbowmen. Now, nodes have a figure limit of 3, and so there are 3 figures on this node right now, so this node is actually full, but that's okay, because that's all I need. I just needed 3. I do have a berserk charge, a special ability that I can use per spark, and I'm going to read that now and decide whether or not that's something I want to use. So it says, once per spark during his activation, the warrior may move 1 node without spending stamina. The next range 0 attack he makes costs 0 stamina and gains the hit everybody on the node. So I can spend 2 stamina to actually do that with my weapon, or I can spend my special ability to do that. And I think since I'm so far down on my health here, as you can see, I've got 6 damage. I've only got 4 spaces left, and my stamina still fills up those spaces. So if I start using a bunch of stamina, it's going to get me closer and closer to death. So I think maybe the thing to do is go ahead and use my berserk charge. I'm not going to use my movement, because I've already used, well, actually, to be honest with you, I can actually use the movement of my berserk charge, and then when I'm done, if I need to, I can move away. I don't know that moving away is going to help me that much, because these guys have unlimited range, so they can shoot me anywhere on the thing. But just for the heck of it, I'll go ahead and use my berserk charge. I'm going to go ahead and flip over my watch here that gives me my special ability. I'm going to move 1 node. It doesn't cost me any stamina, and I get to make a 0 attack, which gains the hit everything on the node. So I'm going to get my 2 dice. I don't have to spend any stamina for that, and I'm going to go ahead and take a swing. Now I need to get on these dice, I need to get a 2 or better in order to hit these guys, because they do have 1 physical defense. Okay, so in Dark Souls, when you attack everything on your node, you only roll the dice once, and then you apply that to every person on the node. So if this one guy had the physical defense of 1, and this guy had a physical defense of 2, I would roll it. If I rolled a 2, this guy would die, and this guy would not die. In this situation, they both have a physical defense of 1, so if I roll 2 hits on these dice, both of them will die, and I will manage to squeak out of this with a victory. If I do not, then I'm probably going to be in big trouble. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. I'm hoping for lucky dice. There's no camera tricks here. I'm going to take what I get. So here we go. Look at that. I got 2. Very lucky. So I did 1 damage that gets blocked by their physical defense, and I do 1 damage that's going to take them out. So I'm actually going to take both of these guys out. and I get 2 souls for completing this tile. I'm going to put those in my soul cache there. I'm going to go ahead and leave this here so that I can have that on my tile. And then I am going to go ahead and I'm going to have a great sigh of relief because I managed to survive another tile. This is a very intense game, I'm going to say. I feel kind of underwhelmed in the department of weapons and stuff like that. But I also have this great sense of, like, oh, I did it. I actually managed to survive. So I've finished this tile and I've won, and so because I won, I get to remove all of my damage, so that's good. So I was kind of in a bad spot there, so now I am damage free and ready to move on with my adventure. So this is really good. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. As always, if you guys saw anything that I did wrong, please put the comments in the show notes below. I'm going to be moving on in the next section to this tile, and I will try to fix anything that I may have done wrong when I get to this tile. I'll also be thinking about what I want to do with my souls, whether I want to pull more treasures, which I don't feel like I can use, or if I want to start just upgrading my stats, and maybe the stats are what I want to do. You guys, if you guys have an opinion on that, go ahead and leave it in the show notes and let me know what you think you would do. Also, I'm going to be moving to this tile, which is another level 1 encounter. So these both have been level 1 encounters, and I think maybe I can complete this with my base stuff, but I'm not sure. This one was a little intense, so I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to think about that stuff before I come back. If you have comments about it, leave it in the show notes and let me know. If I made any mistakes, leave those comments as well. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you here, and I'm going to say goodbye for now. But until I see you again in part 3, happy gaming.